For centuries, science operated on a very simple premise. The universe is out there, and it doesn't care if we're paying attention. Mountains stand, rivers flow, and planets orbit in total independence. Albert Einstein summarized this view with a single question: does the moon cease to exist when nobody is looking? To him, and to the foundations of classical physics, the answer was a self-evident no. This assumption created a universe of objective permanence, a vast mechanical clockwork that would continue ticking even if every conscious being vanished. But when physicists moved from mountains and moons to the microscopic world, that independence disappeared. At the scale of atoms and electrons, particles began to behave in ways that classical logic could not predict. This is the wave function. Before measurement, a subatomic particle doesn't occupy a definite spot. It exists as a blur of overlapping probabilities. But the moment it is measured, that blur vanishes. The wave function collapses into one specific physical outcome. These equations are accurate enough to power our modern world, yet they rely on a specific, unexplained requirement. The physical universe only takes a definite form when it is being watched. To understand this, scientists attempted to isolate the exact trigger. They needed to define what actually counts as an observation in a quantum experiment. In a laboratory setting, an observation can be entirely mechanical. A detector interacts with a particle and records the data, a process that requires no human presence at all. However, this mechanical definition creates a new problem. A detector is just another collection of particles. Physics cannot yet identify the exact moment these interactions force the universe to switch from a state of possibility to a state of certainty. In 1935, physicist Erwin Schrödinger designed a thought experiment to illustrate how strange this ambiguity really is. He imagined a cat in a sealed box where a quantum event determines if a poison is released. According to some interpretations, until the box is opened, the quantum event hasn't settled on an outcome. This implies the cat exists in a suspended state, simultaneously alive and dead, until the act of looking forces a result. Schrödinger used this to show that our current definitions describe what happens without explaining why. If the math is right, something deeper than a simple mechanical interaction is triggering the reality we see. This led to a more radical hypothesis, the idea that the human mind itself is the active ingredient. Perhaps the wave function collapses only when it is perceived by a conscious observer. We can already map the brain with remarkable precision, tracking billions of neurons and the electrical signals that pulse through our neural networks. Mapping these structures brings us to the hard problem of consciousness. Mechanical data on the left doesn't explain subjective awareness on the right. Knowing which neurons fire doesn't explain the internal experience of color or the sensation of grief. Because science cannot yet explain where awareness comes from, we are left to wonder if it is more than just a biological byproduct, if it is actually a necessary component of the physics of our universe. This creates a philosophical boundary we cannot cross. We have no way to separate our study of the universe from the mind that is doing the studying. Every equation we solve and every piece of telescopic data we gather exists only within the framework of human awareness. The astronomer Carl Sagan suggested that this relationship is the key to understanding our place in the cosmos. For billions of years, the universe expanded in silence. Eventually, raw stardust organized into biology, biology into nervous systems, and nervous systems into intelligence. This transition marked a milestone for the cosmos. For the first time, matter became self-aware. The universe produced creatures capable of contemplating the universe itself. The observer problem suggests that we are not merely passive witnesses to a mechanical world. Through us, the universe has developed the ability to reflect upon its own existence.